everybody. Hello and good morning. So this is me just heading to work, and I thought I'm gonna keep coming back here. So there's another episode of Dangote trucks buying people. So apparently a couple of accidents involving Dangote trucks happened in Enugu, and I think another one was reported in Port Harcourt. But briefly, before I touch on that, there was a post from a guy or from someone on social media who was actually mimicking what happened to Fina's sister. It was one of the people who made snide remarks about what happened to Fina's sister. So if you are in the camp of someone, or if you're in the camp of those who are so insensitive, who just can't keep their mouth shut, or who are running with the narrative that, oh, Fina is greedy, it was because she asked for 1 billion naira. So this guy now posted, I'm going to put his post here, that accident happened in Enugu and it took the lives of 4 people, and of those 4 people was his own brother. Did you guys see how karma really came? Did you guys see how karma really came? Am I mocking him? Hell no. It goes to show that at times, if you don't have something good to say when something bad happens, it's good to keep your talk to yourself and don't even bother altering it. Even though your mind is like, oh, this is that, even though you have bad bias towards what has happened, it is better in most cases to keep that bias to yourself, because karma could be very, very dangerous. For some people, it happens really quick, and for some people, it doesn't. So what am I saying in essence is this? So that accident happened, and it was the one that posted is that, accident happened, it took the life of 4 people, and of those people, one of them was his own brother. So let's move on swiftly from that. Again, just to the accident in Enugu as well, involving Dangote trucks. And again, when I saw the post, I'm going to put the post here. It involves the lives of healthcare workers, and I believe they are either doctors, nurses, or people who work in hospitals. They were moving from one hospital to another, and according to the post, the guy said it was not quite long when they prayed, when they were all in that bus headed to that new hospital, and then that accident happened. And yes, other people saw them and they came. Guys, I'm trying to contain my emotion here, because me speaking about this, it's getting me teary, and obviously I'm heading to work, and I don't want my high makeup ruined. I'm just, yeah. So it said that all the people in that bus, half of the people on the bus, none of them made it. What happened again? Dangote truck crushed into them. It's so crazy that we were still talking about this. It's not past. We are still talking about this Dangote. And while some people decide to use it to start catching crews, some of us, we decided to use our platform to call out and just don't make it about you. Instead, make it about everybody. Make it about an issue. Make it about every Nigerian lives. But somebody came and decided to make it about themselves. And I said, and I'm going to keep saying again, at some point, there's still going to be monetary compensation in this case of Fina's sister. If she were to be alive, now that she's no longer alive, compensation is still going to be sorted, right? Some people are still going on about, and then I saw a video of a woman who said, this Fina, because of her greed, this person is actually not her blood sister. Guys, I'm going to put that video here for you guys to watch.
Do you know that Ruth is not Fina's direct sister? Shocking, right? Ruth is only her cousin. Yes, a blood relative, but not her immediate family. A trusted follower of mine who knows their family history very well confirmed this after my last post. And honestly, it all makes sense, because we all remember how Fina herself disowned her own immediate family. How can someone who publicly rejected her father, her mother, and her siblings suddenly claim the savior of her cousin? No, Chikam. Does that make sense to you? Tell me. Let us not forget that Fina's father went on a national television to cry out that his own daughter abandoned them after winning Big Brother Naija. What did Fina do in response? She shamelessly insulted them and claimed that her family wanted to kill her with too many...
Guys, what do you make of the video of this woman who said that, after all, the person is not Fina's blood sister? Does it matter? Does it change the fact that somebody lost their life? You better pray that you have somebody in your family that will be able to stand up and fight for you, not in the case of situation like this, but in any cases whatsoever that you may experience in your life. For the fact that that girl Ruth had somebody, either her blood sister or not, that fought for her, speaks volume. So let's move on swiftly from that. So the accident that happened in Enugu, now lives have been taken, and I watched a video, and it was a video that Adeola Fayewu made, and I'm going to leave that video for you guys to watch it, but I'm going to quickly obviously buttress a few things she mentioned. A few of the things she mentioned in her video were part of the things I've discussed in my live stream, like, insurances, drivers in Nigeria not having driver's license, which driving school did they go learn how to drive. If Dangote is recruiting all these drivers, how is he checking, how is he ascertaining that they actually have driver's license? What additional training? How is he able to check that they've had additional training that make sure that they could drive a truck safely? All of these things I've discussed, and also Adeola Fayewu also went on to speak in volume about that also. And also Adeola Fayewu also mentioned something about roads, that it's not about drivers alone, that roads in Nigeria, blah 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 blah. The one that happened, the accident that happened in Enugu, it was on a smooth surface express road. Smooth surface express road. So it's the fact that some of these Dangote drivers do not care, because they've been wired with the idea that if you cause accident, any told by your or delay, that is anybody where you head safe will go meet for house. Which means that if they happen to be involved in an accident, as long as they are able to run, if they are not caught, then nobody will get caught. And also Adeola Fayewu also mentioned about the fact of insurances, and I believe I made a video sometimes ago, either in February of this year. I'm going to put a screenshot of that video here, where the Nigerian police introduced something about Motoring Act of 2003, where they said drivers now should start having insurances via a third party and stuff like that. And I was like, I've never heard of that act before. But then, if this is what they are going to start doing, how has this act been, communicated to Nigerian motorists? Because at the end of the day, all of this accident could happen to anybody, and it does not necessarily have to be Dangote trucks. There are other accidents that happen that involves other cars that does not involve Dangote truck. Look at that accident that happened to that young guy. I can't remember his name now. Who came from Canada to Nigeria, and one Babolowo bumped into him on his truck and on his bike, and then she was like, I don't want BLOOD to stay in my car, blah blah blah. Eventually the guy died. I'm going to pop his image here once I find his name again. Look at that case. But right now we are talking about Dangote truck, because like I said, I've been hearing of Dangote truck accidents since I was age 12, and now I am 42. 30 years later, it's still happening. And also other news of Dangote truck accidents, which I read in the past few days, that a certain city, I can't remember, if I find that post I'll put it here, that a man was spied by Dangote truck in that same area. Now in the past few days, in that particular area, that man's son has also been spied by Dangote truck in the same area. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? And I'm going to drop a snippet of what Adeola Fayewu said in her video that I really want us to open our ears to. It's about 2 minutes long that I've cropped from her video. You will have to go to her channel. I'm going to put her name here. You have to go to her channel to go watch the full video about how Dangote is the one pretty much in charge of everything food, everything in Nigeria. Food, cement, pasta, sugar, salt. Yes, because why is it that since this incident happened, Nigerian police has not spoken anything? Nigerian government have not said anything, because they've given Dangote the power to do as he wishes and undo as he wishes, and no police, nobody will hold him accountable for it. I'll put that video of Adeola Fayewu here. Let me know what you think about it.
fact that the Nigerian government has allowed Alhaji Dangote to become too powerful. See, there's something called monopoly capitalism, which is the dominance of giant corporations or individuals that control large segments of the economy. And that is what we are experiencing in Nigeria. So now we have one man who is now the biggest producer, supplier of cement, sugar, fertilizer, petrol, diesel, and other refined petroleum products. He's also into salt, flour, seasoning, pasta. He's also into real estate, packaging materials, and truck assembly through his various subsidiaries. In fact, he's not just the biggest in Nigeria. He's now Africa's largest cement manufacturer. And while Morocco has the largest reserves and output of phosphate-based fertilizers, Dangote fertilizer plant is the largest single fertilizer production facility in all of Africa. And now he owns the world's largest single train refinery, not Africa's largest, or the world's largest single train refinery. He's processing our crude oil into petrol, diesel. He's processing our aviation fuel. Dangote has become very powerful. Now, don't get it twisted. It's not like we're not happy that Dangote is successful. But there is danger in monopoly capitalism. And the danger is that it always leads to higher prices. Because he can wake up tomorrow and decide, this is how much I will sell fuel. And there's no competition. So guess what? That is how much everybody would buy it. So it always leads to higher prices, wealth concentration, and a shift from healthy competition to monopolistic market structures. By the way, the biggest danger is not the concentration of power and money to one individual or a few people. It is that if something bad should happen to his company, we are not praying that anything bad will happen. I'm just saying, if anything bad should happen, the whole country is in trouble because we are completely dependent on one person or one company. What is going to happen if anything happens to them? Why are we putting all our eggs in one basket? It's the same problem with the government of Nigeria focusing so much on developing Lagos ports only. Why should the port in Lagos be the only major one? If anything happens in Lagos, does that mean that we would not have an alternative? That is why other countries put regulations in place, like the federal antitrust laws, like the Sherman and Clayton Acts, enforced by the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission here in America. These laws prohibit anti-competitive practices such as price fixing and unlawful mergers. If you don't cooperate, you get fined big time, and they can break up monopolies.
So from that Adiola Fayemu's video, what do you guys think? Dangote has been given the power to continue to kill Nigerians. And the annoying thing is this: all of these people, they travel abroad, they see how things are done, and they just chose to become and remain unfortunate. And why? Because Nigerian lives do not matter to them. Only their children and their family lives matter. Only the lives of their children and their families only matters. And then, if you're a road officer, road whatever they call you officer, if you have been told that you should not stop Dangote trucks, blah 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 blah, know that all of these people that are experiencing this Dangote truck accident, sooner or later your family will become one of them. Know that sooner or later your family will become one of them. Yes, I did do a video where I was talking about car insurance thing, about like, look at the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. I'm going to pop a screenshot of that, a thumbnail of that video on my channel here. Short videos will not blow because it is not gossip, right? Short video will not blow because it is not talking about maybe very dark man or talking about crazy things that it does not even matter, right? So I don't understand. Like, guys, we need to wake up. Why is it only Dangote that is doing cement in Nigeria? Why is it only Dangote pasta we are eating? Why is it only Dangote that is almost in charge of almost everything, food, everything, name it, in Nigeria? What is stopping other people, other Nigerians setting up same business? Like, nobody has monopoly of madness alone, right? If I put the word right, Adiola Fayewu, explained this perfectly well from that video of ours that you watched. Like I said, you need to go to our channel to go watch the full episode of that video. And I'm going to say it again. Fina asking for 1 billion naira, she wasn't wrong if that was true, because I saw a post saying, debunking that she never at any time asked for 1 billion naira. And we've all seen the video of where she was asking Dangote representative that she wants them to fly her sister abroad. But laughing cow with a nose ring, you're a rattle king came out like, oh, she was greedy, she has for 1 billion. And people were like, oh, but Fina has not debunked the 1 billion. Does she owe any of you any explanation? Hell no. The person that asserted that she has for 1 billion naira asked him to provide the proof, because he talks with proof all the time, right? And like I said, I found a post where this man said, you know what, those of you who are claiming and asserting that she collected 1 billion or she has for 1 billion, that you guys will have to bring the evidence. And there's a guy on Daddy Freeze's show who was saying that she of that money Fina will not get. The money does not necessarily have to go to Fina. They could possibly put that money into a fund, into a trust fund for her children, for Ruth's children. And if it's not only for Ruth's children alone, Ruth has families, Ruth has mama, has papa. They also deserve to be compensated, because at the end of the day, Ruth's parents in Africa today, African parents depend on their children at old age. So Ruth's parents will be expecting Ruth to be giving them chop money, assuming she was alive today. You know? So guys, Dangote has to be held accountable for all the debts, all the buying that have been happening since 30 years ago. Because like I said, I've been hearing about Dangote truck buying people since I was age 12, and I've seen 2 with my kolo eyes. And also, like I said, it's not only about Dangote trucks alone now. It involves all motorists in Nigeria. How are they getting their driver's licenses? Like I said in that my video, which I'm going to put a screenshot here, you have to learn to go. You have to go to driving school before you can even sit behind a wheel to drive here in diaspora. You must have something called provisional driver's license. If you don't have that, you can't even sit behind a wheel. Talk more, say you want to enter motor, and then you do a couple of tests, and then you go and do your major driving test, and then before you actually put your body, your bum on that car that you want to drive, you have to have car insurance. Car insurance, which means that God forbid you die in that accident, they will pay out to your family. God forbid that you are involved in an accident that takes another person's life, that compensation will go to that people's family. Nigeria is trying to do the same, but how are they making sure this is working? The Motoring Act of 2003 or something, if I find it, I'll put it on the screen here. It was Egbeto, Nigerian police Moga, that announced it then. Guys, the battle, the fight against Dangote should start heightening up now. It should start hotting up and eating up now. This is not the time for us to keep our hands crossed. And like I said, if you hear news of people crying due to these things, and you are one of the people who was so unfortunate to be saying, oh, she's this, she's that, she's greedy, she's this, karma is already happening to some people. And like I said, I am not mocking those, I am not mocking the guy. But when next people drop stuff like that, it pays to be sensitive. And if you can't be sensitive and you want to be unfortunate, it's better you don't drop comments. Just scroll along. Guys, leave your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. This news of Dangote, like I said, if this were to be happening in diaspora with all of this, then Dangote would have gone bankrupt. It will have gone bankrupt. This is where I'm going to rest my case. Leave your thoughts and opinion, as always, based on the things that you've seen in this video, and leave suggestions on how we can take this monopoly out of Dangote's hand, because yes, Baba Tinubu has given Dangote that power. Leave your thoughts, your suggestions in the comment. Let's take the conversation further in the comment section. And like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you again in another video. All right, bye for now.
In my veins, I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame, cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearrange